All right, welcome everybody to another exciting day. We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, straight off the party yacht, right? He's been down and out after his wild. I think he was on a safari in Africa. He just got back. He got some wild safari African disease. The good news is you can only get some disease like this once. So how are you doing, Joan? How are you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling better, Van. Thanks so much for having me tonight. Yeah, I've had a chest cold from hell this week, and I tend to get this every time the seasons change. I've had the AC on and the heat on like three separate times this week. So until the climate can figure out what's going on, my body's all out of whack. But I feel I'm on the better side of this, and happy to be here with you guys, talking some crypto, talking some crazy Bitcoin action.
Yeah, so it's been a miserable trading scenario, to say the least. So we're gonna jump right in here, and I'm just gonna start off with the first chart right here. I just want to kind of rip through a couple of the high levels scenarios, and I'm gonna hand this back and forth between me and Sean and kind of get our own grasp on this, right? So I posted this late last night, early this morning, whatever it was. So the weekly candles that were possible, we had a hanging man, we had a bearish engulfing, we had a bearish harami, we had a hammer candle, we had tweezer tops, we had a lot of possibilities, and none of these is good, right? There's not one possibility right here that I see that was a good turnout, unless this thing just broke over the what did I say, is 68.43, I think it was. Yeah, so 68.43, it really needed to get up here and smash to the 68.43. Other than that, this is kind of the very first time we have put in this, and I don't want to say this a hanging man, but here's more of an identity of what the candle is. Now, you see when this candle over here closed out, you had a little poke up, right? It was like, aha, woohoo, and then just died out. Now, we have actually created more of a rising wedge here. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at a rising wedge. Now, I look at this candle as a hammer, as a hanging man candle. I am not looking at it as anything else, right? This is a bearish candle. You are bearishly engulfed. Okay, if I have to bring a chart up that says this, let me swing it over just so we can get the believers. If not, that's a bearish inside bar candle and or a bearish harami. Let me bring this bad boy up here. Whatever it is not good. It does not look good. This does not give me any bullish signal as we move forward here, right? And then kind of here's our, right? This is what this looks like right here, right? You are engulfed. This is bearish. This is at the top of a trend. These are all bad things. This is all bearish. This is all bearish here. Now, you can, listen, anything is possible here. Anything is possible. It is Sunday, right? And I'm still not completely 100% on how what's going on with the Van Eck ETFs right now, but I'll tell you what. I mean, I would like to see something from the SEC that says that when it is postponed to, everything's kind of been gray, right? Jonas, have you seen something actually from the SEC that gave a timeline or anything like that?
No, I would just we constantly see everything from the postponements to the cryptic letter from the woman who said she is pro the ETF. She was kind of the lone holdout. And then there's just the overall sense of, is the government really prepared to move forward with this, with just this week's suspensions of those two markets, obviously for specific reasons, but we're talking about, a mature market that deserves an ETF. And I don't know if Bitcoin has kind of proven itself at this point. I'm a little more optimistic further on in the next few months than right now in this specific moment. And if Bitcoin maximalists are looking to kind of at this moment to save Bitcoin and to use this potential ETF to defend the 6K region, I mean, is this the only thing that this is kind of hanging on to right now, hanging man onto, if you will, right now, especially on the weekly? And I agree with you on the weekly that this is a hanging man here. In terms of the bullish and the bearish engulfing, It's yes, it is in terms if you want to use the wicks, but
Oh,
um,
sorry. Keep going. Go ahead. I had to put your
we
chart
we
up.
we um, we basically see um, one more example on this weekly candle. I mean, all the debating we had this week, all the TA, all the trying to break down the different scenarios, and we were range bound in like this $400 range all week. And you have to admit, every time we had this, at least through this week, every time it seemed like it was about to fall apart, it got bought back up. Every time you felt like this was on the cliff, on the verge of falling through, the bull stepped in and it kind of got bought back up. But you never found that breakaway speed yet, because we're just very tight in this wedge here. We're very tight in this pattern. We're very tight in our equilibrium, where we're still putting in lower highs and we're still putting in higher lows. And I put a tweet out a couple days ago. This one here, I used the Bitstamp chart here, but it basically shows how tight we are in terms of our lower highs, higher lows, and this could still take us a couple more weeks or at least several more days into October before we have some sort of a finality on what's really going to happen. The major break that the charts are saying is inevitable, that's coming. The tightness of our Bollinger, especially on our daily chart, our weekly chart, the Bollingers have never been tighter, at least in 2018. But we're seeing another rejection here on the EMA 12, which is one of the EMAs I like to use. These dots here represent our middle Bollinger Band. Another week where we were repelled under the middle BB once again. So, these are our heavyweights above the price action that for the past, we're now heading into the third week where we're being repelled by these EMAs and these lines here on declining volume once again. Um,
Yep.
we had a better week, not the week we just ended, but the week prior gave a little more promise in terms of the volume, the candle, and it had a chance to move forward. And last week's momentum was kind of stalled out. And again, we're just closer, tighter, waiting. The bulls keep stepping in, but we're not finding that breakaway speed yet. And this could still be some time here. I also feel like, in a sense, this market, the crypto market, is almost waiting for the larger global stock markets. There's so much mixed signals between the U.S. markets that are on the verge of all-time highs across the board in the major indexes, with foreign markets, especially China, on the verge of a bear market, an official one. So there's all sorts of stuff happening globally in these equities that I think has a lot of impact on Bitcoin. And I think we'll have a lot to say about freed up money, new money flowing into crypto and moving these markets. I just want to say one more thing about the price action in the alts that we've seen over this week. We talk about when Bitcoin is stable and slightly bullish, then you can find those pops in the altcoins. They're random. It was clearly chart by chart, but we saw tremendous moves in, everything from Doggy Coin to Vibe to Ripple, that ripped hundreds of percent. So when I see those moves in the altcoins, and that's why we're in crypto, to have those kind of crazy parabolic moves, huge moves, very fast. That's what we love about this game. But if they can do that, if those specific alts can do that, maybe Bitcoin, it shows the potential for, if Bitcoin could rip, then we could see what could happen here. But Bitcoin's kind of continue to run the show, and everything's kind of gets stalled out. All these nice looking potential bottoming plays, altcoin accumulation plays, which we see on a lot of charts because there's just a lot of stability. There's clearly some bottom feeding on certain coins, looking for those moves that we'd seen in the ones I just specified here. So Bitcoin really has a chance and to really help crypto and move it along and kind of foreshadow another push, and then you have to ask yourself, well, what the heck is a bullish move in Bitcoin at this point? If we get back up to $6,900, I'll go to just the daily chart here. If we get back to $6,900 with a firm rejection once again, upper BB $6,800, maybe we can wick through it one more time. Does that signal any major change? It was just one more rejection, in the price, one more double top, one more smackdown right at the $6,800 level. And talk about the bulls defending 6K, the bears, how long can they defend $6,800? Which has been the last 10 days of September, has always been this range bound. Top off 68, come down 63, 64. We've been in this $400 range for over a week, and I think we're on the verge, no pun intended, of something that's about to be a larger, much more volatile move in the market and in crypto in general. Yeah, because listen, we just closed daily, a weekly, a monthly,
and a
quarterly,
monthly, all at the same time. So we're gonna bring up the monthly
time.
chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at your monthly. Go for it.
All right, so a couple things here. I'm going to talk about my BB now. I thought this would be a little clearer for me, but it's actually confusing. So I'm going to go back to my line here. So middle Bollinger is my brown line here. 2 months in a row. 2 months in a row. We bearishly tapped it. We bullishly found support on it. Okay, but now, it's one of those situations where we're also finding. Again, I use my EMA 12, my EMA 26. 2 months in a row now, the price has been repelled by the EMA 12. We were able to close above it in July. We closed below in August, and we were able to get above it mid-month, but not hold. And once again, it's rejecting as well. So we're sandwiched here between our middle BB and our descending EMA 12 on the monthly chart. Now, the upper and the lower BBs are kind of pointless because of how spread out they are. But this also kind of corresponds to me with a sense that this has many more months of I don't want to say sideways price action, but more of a range bound price action for these BBs to actually tighten up. I can look at a couple more indicators here that are very notable. Our RSI, once again, we're just flat here. We're still above 50, which I do like, even though I have to go way out to my monthly to kind of show that. And we can see here in the past that 50 area has acted as support and has also acted as resistance. Basically here, found support here, and now double tapping it here, and we're kind of just riding at the 53 area here. So historically, we're finding that double tap support in this area here, and yes, this can roll upward as long as that support area holds. Now our stochastics is just pegged as low as it can go here. We actually had I'd almost call this a bearish crook with our leading indicator, the blue one here. So there is nothing in our monthly Stoke that says any directional change other than the fact it's basically been pegged off bottom since May. So we're just basically still dead stick flatline there, ready to move when the market is ready to go. Still bearishly crossing in our MACD. This has started in June. Very spread here. No change in direction in our bearish histogram as well. We're still putting in higher bearish bars, dropping lower here. And we're still very spread with yet to show any kind of a turnaround in our blue leading indicator in our MACD. Talking money flow, still losing that money momentum, losing that bullishness. Now, the monthly chalk-in is a little kind of hard to translate. I actually have a better daily that talks a little more about, I think, a little more accuracy here, because this shows we actually topped off in November, even though we had our top off in Bitcoin's price action, in end of December here, so I don't really take too much stock in that in the month.
Manipulation.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is another indicator.
Wash trading,
I like to
tether.
whatever the markets can do to kind of keep this thing afloat. And this is another indicator I like to use. This is a squeeze momentum indicator. You guys can find it on indicators on Public Library. It's the very first one up here. We've basically started our first negative month in the histogram ever. So you have to.
Wow, that's
If
not
we're
good.
starting a negative month, you would assume we're going to do some of this before we find some sort of upturn. So again, this is a monthly. This is a very long, slow tortoise of a indicator here, but this is our first little red pinky here. So that kind of is notable there. So yeah, in terms of the monthly chart, how we finished our candle here. I mean, it's a little spinning top here. It's the smallest bodied candle we've had in 2018. I take that back. February was actually a very tight, long-legged doji here. But since then, this is clearly our tightest body range here, and that's basically been denoted in a lot of our more or less sideways price action we've had there. So I do not see this as a bullish change in direction. It's, we got a wick on top, we got a wick on a bottom, support still on the lower BB, but again, we double touched it. A third touch would put it right at 63.90. And if we touch it for a third time, I'm just not super confident that it's going to hold for a third time. Inversely, we break through our EMA 12, which is right around 7K. And, I think the same rules apply. I'd like to see if we could possibly find that as a support versus a resistance as October goes on. Let's say one more thing. October, a little iffy month historically for Bitcoin. November and December have been amazing months historically. October is a little hit or miss. So I don't know if you can actually read anything into that, but historically speaking, Bitcoin ends the year a lot stronger the last couple months. And as I said before, overall markets, I think, can play a larger role in what happens with Bitcoin and crypto. I just want to go real quick here also to look at our coin market cap and kind of see where we're sitting here, because we've seen Bitcoin dominance dropping. We were at 57% a couple weeks ago. We're at 51%. That's where a lot of that money flew into altcoins. The pumps we were talking about, we are officially, first time in history, over 2,000 cryptocurrencies on the market, or one Bitcoin and 2,003 S coins. Market cap 225 billion.
That was very politically correct. I like it.
Very politically
nice.
correct. And Bitcoin still hovering over 100 billion. We've touched 100 billion. I think a few places showed it at 99 billion. So again, how long can 200 billion be defended? It's been several times. How long can 100 billion in Bitcoin be defended? It's been several times. We're still ranging in this low 4 billion, high 3 billion kind of range here. We did hit a fiver, and then we had that 6 billion day 10 days ago, where we had that really nice pop to almost $6,800 in Bitcoin. So we've been range bound in this $4 billion market daily Bitcoin volume. And that's not going to get us over the hump. That's not going to get us that next move. So yes, we can move $100, $200, touch 6,900, maybe touch that 7K area, hitting those major EMAs and that I like to watch on higher time frames and whatnot. But how many times can we do that before the market realizes, hey man, this is just not working? And as we get tighter in our Bollinger, especially in our daily, I mean, we are just so ridiculously tight in our daily Bollingers, tighter than we've ever been. We were spread out by $600 several days ago. We're now spread out by $550, $530. So we're just getting smaller and smaller in our tightness, showing a major move is imminent. in probably next week. I mean, probably next week. That this tightness can't hold forever. And I'm on my daily here, but we're just watching this triangle here. I'm gonna get rid of my BB for a second here. Resistance, resistance, and we only have our one tap so far. Of this line, a second tap can still put us 67.30, 67.50, and still get us rejected. When we rejected here and here, we still have several daily candle wicks that try and break out before the die is cast and the rejection is installed. So we can still touch at this line here one more time, see how the market plays it, see if we can get that breakaway speed. Last thing I want to say is look at our volume profile here. I'm on the Bitfinex here, arcing lower. I mean, arcing lower, especially this last cluster here, lower volume, trickling up price here. I think this is suspect. I don't see this volume supporting this trickle up here.
Yeah, very, very bearish. All right, so let's go over and take a look real quick at kind of what I got going on here. So when I do look at the monthly, I see the spinning top. Now, usually when I'm looking for a reversal, and I do look at this as a reversal candle, I like to see spinning tops as reversal candles. When I look at the reversal candles, so I usually like to see them at the top of a trend or the bottom of a trend, right? And this is kind of, it's in a neutral area right here, so it gives me a mixed signal. So I got a mixed signal on the monthly for me. Now, this does signal a potential reversal or a reversal pending. So with that, I would like to see, possibly do we have one more fallout and then get a really nice bounce? That's plausible. That's also possible. If you go down to the weekly, right? We go down to our weekly. You see that listen, this is bearish for me. This is really tough because just going back historically and looking every time we had something that was close to a twin towers close, right, where you've got the two tops of the candles close out even, it never turns out well. Right, the following candle is never a bullish candle, right? It's like when you get these two that close out, there's never a big giant green candle really that follows it, right? Close out, fall, close out together, fall, close out together. Look at this. Now this closed all the way down here. So this is where this candle closed here. This candle opened here. So this is a bottom. So once again, double close on the top, twin tower. Completely fell out. Yep, look, this even opened twin tower. This twin towered when this candle opened. Fell out. Same thing here. Fell out. Same thing here. Fell out. Same thing here. Look, this fell out. Nope, this actually, I take it back. This started at the bottom and then went up. So this actually was all the way down here, went up. There, down, there, down, there. Now we've put in the same twin tower style candle, and this just does not look good. This is not no bueno right here. I don't like putting these in. Now, the following candle does not automatically have to just take a total turd on us, right? But you can get a little pick-me-up. Now, if we saw a triple top here, right? If we did see a triple top, it really wouldn't be unprecedented. Like here, this would almost, this is triple topish, right? This is triple topish right here. Okay, this is triple topish right here. You're really, all three of these candles kind of lined up. Bang, bang, bang. Right? Now, if this does come up, this little candle, and came up and kind of tried to get a little triple topish here with us, or at least pushed up to 6,700, I would expect to see this thing possibly fall out one more time. I am very bearish on the weekly. On the monthly does give me a little bit of hope, but then I look at the volume on the monthly, just completely flagging volume. And when I look at this candle that put in a really good top to bottom run. I look at this candle that put in a really good top to bottom run. And we're about 3/4, 65% of the total volume here. Right, so our volume is definitely flagging, even though we got a candle was probably 90% of the same base as this candle right here. Right, look at this candle right here. Look at the gorgeous volume. Look at the gorgeous volume. I mean, this is This is a good candle, good volume, still higher, right? So our volume is flagging. That is not good. It is not sustainable. Our volume is not sustainable in this environment for this to keep. Now, how is this being held up? Hope, hope. You know, the exchanges, hope. You get articles out by people like CZ who, if they did say that stuff in America, they would probably go to prison. You can't just go on there and in an article say that, oh yeah, we're holding stuff up and we're just going to continue to hold this up. You just can't do that, right? You can't do that. Looking down here as we peel down the 3-day, so just put in a brand new 3-day candle, spinning top at the top of a trend. This is where I like to see a spinning top. Look, a spinning top at the top of a trend. I like this. Spinning top at the top of a trend. I like this. So I like these kind of candles at the top of a trend. These will show me, or a bottom of a trend, these will show me a reversal, right? So look, here you go. Spinning top, showed me a reversal was pending. Bam, rocket to the moon. Spinning top, turned around. Okay, so this is, spinning top. Fell. This is what I love about these spinning top candles. They might not call the bottom, but they do tell you that the reversal is pending. And it's coming, right? And you got it. There it was. So going back over on your monthly, here it is. This is good. This is kind of good news. I wouldn't look at this as a bad news candle. I would look at this as a good news candle, right? So if we did have one more fallout, that could mean that would be our last fallout. Now, when I look at this and I look back over on the 3-day, right? And I see, you get this kind of, all right, maybe this is a last fallout here like this. See this right here, spinning top? See this big wick out? This is kind of what I think is possibly going to play out here. I think we're just going to get, look, spinning top wick out. I think the monthly is going to get a big spinning top wick out here. And I think then we're just going to get a wicked bounce off like 5,800 or something like that. It's going to come down. And just like this big wick, we're going to get this big snap wick. And I think that's what's going to possibly play out here over this next 30 days. Now, I do believe that I'm reading the messages, guys. I will get to them. I see them. I do believe, and I want to show you another chart that I have. Hold on, let me bring up this chart. Okay, let me go back. I want to take this to the weekly, and here's kind of our, what I'm looking at on the weekly. So look, we did punch out, right? We're punching out on our MACD. Our MACD is on this is our weekly. This is bullish, right? So this is kind of, this is regular bearish division, right? It's been broken. So you had bearish division. This thing completely got broken for this week. Now we're going to have to watch this and see what happens here. But you do have hidden bullish diversion, right? That you had hidden bullish diversion. It played out. But once again, we have no volume. This is just BS, right? This is BS, right? Now let's go down and take a look at our Stoke. Our Stoke is testing the top of our wedge right here, right? And look at it has stayed in this wedge resistantly. It has stayed in this wedge religiously, and you can see the indicator also stayed in the wedge. So let's see what happens there. That same thing here. Look, you tried to break out. You see the crook in the neck, came back, trying to tap it again. Now this is exaggerated bullish divergence, and it's trying to break out here. We'll see what happens. It's just, guys, the volume is miserable on the weekly charts. Miserable. Something has to push this through. To me, I believe there's two things that are going to push this. Yeah, divergence, sorry. There's two things that are going to push, divergence, yes, got it. There's two things that are going to push us through here, right? Really, really, really good news, like some good news on the ETFs possibly, right? And I know people are really pushing for this new backed, right? The new back thing. And it's definitely a possibility. It's a possibility we get some kind of news. Now, will that news be will that news be enough to get us up over 7,400? It's still yet to be seen. I mean, it's going to have to be some super amazing news that comes out of, something absolutely amazing that just breaks the volume barrier. You're going to have to get up over this volume bar. You're going to have to put in some really nice volume over the next week. I just think we're not. I think we're going to have bearish volume the next week. We've put in a very bearish candle on the weekly, right? On the daily, I mean the same thing. I look at this daily candle as, you know, all we're doing is testing a lower trend line, right? We just keep testing. Look at this, bang, 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 punch through, bang. We just keep this. It just looks like, look at, how can you not look at this and just see a rising wedge? I mean, it's impossible. I mean, this is an ABCDE count here. It's just, this is an ABCDE count. Now, you know, do you start your, you know, are you here? You start your count here. You know, where do you start your count at is the question. Where would I start my count? That looks pretty good right there. Wick, 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 right? This looks good to me. I mean, do you start, you know, all right, here you go. So you come down here and you're like, all right, let's do our little ABCD pattern. All right, and there you go. A, B, C, D, E. Oops, wrong one. Grab the wrong one. All right, and come on over here. A, B, C, D, E. Right? Oops. So this makes out a really good ABCDE pattern. Now, you can also possibly argue this is your ABCDE pattern, but here's why I don't like that. Okay, I don't like this because you can't do this. This violates the ABCDE pattern right here with all of these double touches to the trend line, right? You can't do this. This needs to make an ABC, ABC, ABC. So you've got to continually be making there. It's 5 ABCs is how it works. You got to make 5 ABCs, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and that one, right? And the E is the failure wave, right? And if you count in here, and I do a simple count, right, with my ABCs, I can go A, oh, so I can go A, B, C, right, A, B, C, A, B, C, and yeah, you know, it's maybe A, B, C right there, something like that. I know you can break this down to 12-hour, and it plays out for, watch this. When you break this to 12-hour, see, there it is. Boom. See how perfect that plays out? Right? There's that. There's this. I mean, these all play out as good ABCs here. And now here you go, A, B, C. So I can count out all of this as a giant ABCDE, right? So yeah, you know, there's the well, I think it's a WTF pattern. Listen, I agree with you, Schwartz. It is definitely a WTF pattern. Go ahead.
I think you can also say what it's not, and I don't see this as an impulsive move, right?
Exactly.
You don't see this as a 5 wave, that crazy high wave spinning top candle we had on the 18th. Kind of blew that Elliott out of the water, and the ABCDE is the only kind of viable pattern we have, unless we're in some sort of a 3 right now that's building. That right there, what you're drawing now, that is still the only viable Elliott count here. If you do some sort of a weird ABC correction at the bottom of that, but it's a tricky count. I mean, it's a tricky count, and but it can play out, and it can still put in a lower high as long as we don't break $7,400.
Yep, and it's this candle right here that screws the pooch for everybody. Yep. This candle right here just really screws the pooch here. I mean, what do you go? 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5. There's your 4 and 5. Right, so there's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count right there, right? But now here's the issue: is if this is your count, you violated right there. You're done. This just violated your wave 4, right? So your wave 4 needed to be an ABC, so you pull your ABC back, which is really clear. I mean, the ABC in there is just clear as day,
Right.
right? And there it is. And you pull back and you violate your, you violate that. Okay, so that and that now, and now here's the thing: on an ABCDE wave, E wave is your failure wave. So when you get the E failure wave, this is characteristic of an E failure wave. An E failure wave comes back and tests the line multiple times. This is exactly what a failure wave does. A failure wave goes here, it's like here, so you go A, B, C, D. E is the failure wave. E rarely makes it up over or back to its intended target, which should be the top of the trend there. This should be your top of your trend for your E wave. Now what happens is the E's failure wave, it starts to give out gas because of the declining amount of buyers. So what happens is this, you have to look at the ABCDE wave as a rising wedge. That's all this is. This is a rising wedge. And you have to look at it. Give me this. I want this arrow, right? Give me an arrow. Hold on. So you have to look at this more as a rising pattern like this, right? And as you're rising, so as you're rising up here, what's happening is your buyers take over and then they exhaust and they die. And then your buyers take over again and then they exhaust. And this happens a total of 3 times until the top of your trend. And here's, you just look at it like this. And at the top of your trend, they finally exhaust out and they can no longer sustain or break the 2 previous tops that they had. Here becomes your top. This becomes your second top, your double top. Now, in the situation where this is a daily double top, let me tell you, this is a reversal. This is a clear reversal sign right here. A double top is a very significant reversal sign, as clearly outlined over here, right? This is a double top, right? This is a double top, right? These are all double tops right here, right? This is a double top. Right, so when you get these double top scenarios, right, and this is a much larger time frame double top scenario, especially since it's played out on the daily time frame, right? This thing played out on a daily, right here. This is a very dangerous double top scenario you have right here, because if this does, even the worse is if this comes up here and makes a triple top, right? If this comes up here and makes a triple top. It would just make the most insane dump down, okay? This would be the worst thing ever. You do not want to go up here and make a triple top, because a triple top would be that much worse. And it does happen. Triple tops do happen. You can go back and you can see them. Yeah, no, listen, I agree, guys. I'm waiting for the bulls to prove me wrong also, all right? So I want to go into another chart that I have. Sorry, I'm going to scoot this over here. And this is a chart I just did. Let me boot my charts back up. Actually, I'm going to bring up a Chone's chart. Let's take a look at Chone's. Chone's got a really cool chart. All right, go for it, Chone.
Yeah, this is my chalk and money flow daily chart. Notice a couple interesting things here. Different time frames show us different things. A lot of times people ask me, Jonas, which time frame is the best? Which is the one to use? And it's a revolving answer. It really depends on which chart, based on the time frame, is showing the most accurate information and is showing the most clarity on price action. And I'm seeing this chalk and money flow daily chart. A couple interesting things here where we're arcing. Okay, so we have this upper resistance arc, we have this lower support arc, and we show our extremes where we dump, where we get very bearish in terms of our money flow. And then we show our ultimate peak here. This was Bitcoin 20K blast off here. But I want to focus specifically on 2018 and the past, 8-9 months here. And these are important to show that these peaks here, January, February 20th, this area here, kind of early May, this area here ended July, and right now have corresponded on the daily with our dying bullish momentums, our dying bullish moves. These have marked the top offs of our nice bull runs that we've had along the relatively speaking, of course, that we've had along the way of 2018. So once again, we are right there with, potentially a little bit more pop left. Maybe there's 100, 150, maybe $200 in the price of Bitcoin left for this line to touch our kind of upper little area right here, corresponding right to the point 2, 3 area so here of our indicator here. But what this means to me is that this is another example of an area where our bull runs go to die. And what I'd be watching for is a significant move, either a break of this, a break of our declining bearish arc. I'm not ready to pull this down just yet because I feel this can still go up a little bit more. And again, that corresponds to a little bit more room in our price of Bitcoin. Now, we just started the week, we just started the month. It'd be crazy to assume that the top of the month is already in. I just can't see that happening. But the question is our top of October weeks from now after a major dump in the market. And again, this is still super early in the day. We just started our day. We're only about 2 hours into our day here. But just showing our EMA 55, our resistance line here, we could definitely put in some sort of a tweezer rejection here. I was actually watching the 4 hour. Let me kind of clean this up here. These bottom candles here, tweezer bottom here, brought us a nice move, and these kind of here that brought us down, and then this last 4 hour candle of the week, month, the quarter looked very bearish until it kind of got bought up. I mean, and it was notable on kind of low to medium volume here, and kind of pushed us higher. But I'm almost afraid this was like that another triple. You talk about the triple rejection. This is a triple wick rejection once again on our 4 hour chart. So I'm having a hard time finding any higher time frame candles that show a bullish sentiment. And my red line here is my MA200, and 1, 2, 3, 4, going on our fifth 4 hour candle of rejecting it. Now this has 2 more hours to close out, so I'm going to see where this can close. We can break above, or if we'll kind of be held down below. But I still see this as continued rejection, and something of note, because after this move here, really nice, great 4 hour candle brought us. I mean, boom, 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 boom. Just $400, just a nice moves here. This was gorgeous, and this was a pretty steep sell off. So after we had this nice move here, we rejected. We came down. We put in the higher low, and now as Vam showed with that line of support there, that rising wedge, line of support. Boom, 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 like to the penny, to the penny, to the penny, to the penny. Another touch of this line, and we're falling through. I mean, I just don't see this holding, for that 4th time on that other touch, and nothing's kind of break down. I mean, for months, right? Every time we've been hovering in this 6K area, we've been asking ourselves, is this the one? Is this the time? Is this the moment where the 6K, can't no longer defend? We were asking us here, here. This was our most recent, $6,100, and we keep defending it. But at some point, there's going to be a situation where it's just over. It's just kind of like a game of musical chairs, where so far everybody has a chair and everybody has a place to sit, and then at some point, if they feel the cascade is coming, if the big players are like, crap, we just can't hold 6K anymore, liquidating, that cascading effect can really bring us that real nasty bearishness that we're kind of waiting for and kind of been teased on all through the summer and now kind of heading into the fall. And we've never been closer. This has never been a harder trade in Bitcoin all of 2018. We've had very clear chart patterns, inverse head and shoulders. um, uh, uh, this was a fulcrum bottom here. This was our V bottom here back in February. So we've had specific patterns that have played out that have allowed us to break bullish. This is the worst of those. This is as you as have said, kind of a choppy ABCDE, where we're probably on the E wave if that's the case, and we're just kind of holding on here. And just because tomorrow's Monday, start of a new week, the markets are back. It's just one of those scenarios where we see that early morning East Coast USA, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Volatility that we've seen on a lot of circumstances. Now it's gone both ways. We've had Monday morning bullish pops like we had in April, our short squeeze moment there. And then we've had Monday morning bearish dumps. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be an interesting day because we're just so tight here. There's no more room to go on our equilibrium. There's just no more room. Any more wicks are just no more room here. We're within hundreds of dollars of our equilibrium high and our equilibrium low. And even with a bull break, we can still get. I mean, technically, we can get as high as $6,300 and still put in a lower high and still keep this as a bearish market, even though we were able to bring us up another, $300, $400, $500 here. MA200, lastly, here, our red line here on our daily, stop this run here, stop this run here, didn't even get close touching in here. It's now as low as it's been all of 2018, right at $7,300 and still falling. So we can get a little closer to this, but I still see this as mega, kryptonite zone, if you will. And that would be in itself an accomplishment, because then we would mean to bust through my EMA 55 and retest that upper Bollinger Band once again. And the tightness of the BBs here on a high time frame, such as our daily chart, is very it's very I don't know if scary is the word, but it's just wow. This is fuel here. This is rocket fuel. This tightness allows a bigger move, and what that means is it allows the candle to be outside of the Bollingers. It allows to have a move outside of the standard deviation without being overextended. And what I mean by that is you can close, you can shoot above, or you can shoot below, and stay below or stay above for an extended period of time, just because of how tight these are and how much running room the tightness will allow a bigger move in Bitcoin to create. And listen, we touched our bottom here. We found our support in our middle. We touched our top here. Another tap of our bottom is totally inevitable. And again, if we touch our bottom BB with the tightness, that's where I'd be looking for that really bear break, and would not be surprised at that move. And I can show you back here where we were so wide in our dailies, we broke through for just one candle. We closed outside of our lower BB for just one candle, because that's all it allowed because of how wide we were. Because we're so tight now, we could actually close for several daily candles outside, and that would not be that unreasonable because of the tightness and the imminence
Imminent.
of imminence of a major bull move. And that's kind of what we're on the precipice of. I truly believe.
Yep. All right. Let me bring up a chart.
Hey guys, 209 of our closest friends watching. How about some thumbs up, right? Really appreciate those. Vamp appreciates those.
Yeah.
Let's see them.
Okay, all right. So we're going to take a look at some VAMP charts. So this was my momentum chart that I posted yesterday. Here's the momentum chart I put up for everybody yesterday. So listen, the point behind this chart was to explain to people how every time we've gotten close or near the 1618, and this is very simple to do, people. All you do is you go back, you grab your movement, you just grab a one big BTC chart, you open up a brand new chart, and you just start dropping fibs, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom of every drop, right? So here you can see this was the previous 64.58 all the way up to the previous drop before that. I'm going to say that was like the 10K drop, 10.7 or what, 11.7 drop. So you can see here's the 618. Now we broke the 618 by 259 points right here. Then we had this drop right here. There's your bottom, 57.63. The top is 99.83. This is all rough. You came out in 141. You broke the 1618 by 141 points. Now the differential of this is by a little over. It's 111 points. So you're slowly losing momentum, and this shows the momentum swing beginning to turn down. Now you take this the third drop from right here, 8498. You come down to the bottom here, 5839. Your 618 ends up at 7482. Now you didn't make it that far. Now there is a negative. You have a negative from the 618 to the top of the candle of 52 points. So there's a 52-point drop here where you didn't reach it. Now you take the second one from this top right here at 74.73. The bottom at 6,097. You now get another 69.29 is your 618. Now you can see that you're off the mark by 96 points. So what happens is this shows the momentum has been dropping or dipping as you've been trying to get back up to test this very, very critical golden ratio Fibonacci level of the 618, right? And you just can't do it. You've been losing the gusto, the oomph. It's not there to get up and tap this the 618 at 69.29. So I posted this chart yesterday. I want everybody to take a look at that chart yesterday because that has a lot of meaning behind it. And now here's my BTC charts. And kind of one of the predictions we went through yesterday, we were looking at all these critical levels of where Bitcoin needs to go, where we think it could possibly fall out, right? Look, here's your 618 right here. Let me bring this over. So we went in and we just started digging into the fibs, and we wanted to see where our highest levels of resistance were. And I did chart this out as a big ABCDE. I still think it's a big ABCDE. Now, if this is, you've got the ability to get all the way up here, tap this trend line that comes down from your top. You've got two trend lines. Here's the high one at your 618 right there. Look at how perfectly that aligns up. And let me show you where this is. And drop this to 12 hour. Right? Let me change the color of this line right here. Change it to blue. Right? And if you go back out here and you pick this line right here, you have to use this one, and you follow this line all the way down. Right? You're going to tip this straight through this one. There, now you do get an intersection with your 618, right? I just don't like this. I like the trend. I like hitting multiple times like we did with the light blue line. The light blue line lines up a lot better. It goes all the way up to the tippy top. Way! Look at this. Perfect. I like that. I like how this one plays out. Dumps all the way down. This is a much nicer trend line. It lines up right here, bang, and then bang. So now you've put 3 points on this line. And there's your third point. You nailed it right to the money, right? Just money whacked that one. And we had our fallout. The bears are still trying to climb back up. So what we did, we started digging in with our fibs, and we said, okay, look at this. Look at the rejection, the golden zone. The golden zone in this drop right here. 618 and the 50. 1, 2, 3 attempts to try to break through this. And every single time, there's just rejection after rejection. This one was rejected. So now we're looking for this. Here's your 618 right here, 6684. Listen, this can't come up. You can peg that. You can peg that. All these are totally viable. All of these fibs. Once you break over the 6750 mark, now you're getting into a whole new game. you're going to have to go look at this as a wedge, as a larger wedge like this. You see this big ascending wedge right here? So now you're going to have to say, okay, are we going to triple top this baby like this, right? Are we going to get this big triple top here and then fall out? And then that's what I did over on this chart. So I took all of those wedges, right? So here's your wedge, your bigger wedge. Here, I'm sorry, here's your high wedge. Here's your lower wedge that you're in right here, right? And I put in the kind of the critical resistance areas, right? This is, you know, where you're at, I feel this can move through easily. I don't think this is an issue to move in this range as we're coming down here and pinching. I think once you get up in this area, you get a lot more critical. The pressure is higher. Then here's that top of that wedge line right here. Then you get into the red zone. Now you get up into this red zone, the pressure is going to be absolutely insane. And then, boom, there's your bullish zone, right? You break over this, and then we're going to have a whole new talk. It's going to be buying Lambos. I'm going to pick out something nice and powdered blue. I might even buy Chone a nice gift, something like that. All right, here's my Pac-Man. So I had my Pac-Man up yesterday. Don't be that guy, right? I think the title of this chart should Don't Be That Guy or Girl. Don't be trading in this Pac-Man, right? Look at this. This is a 6-hour chart right here that I've got up, okay? This Pac-Man is eating everybody's money. All this is doing is chomp, 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 chomp. These are just bots wrecking everyone. And I could have made this Pac-Man huge because that's all it's done is just eat everybody's money straight up, right? And you're in the jaws of the Pac-Man here, clearly in the red zone. This should be a no trade zone, right? This should be a no trade zone. Nobody you should be scalping only in this zone. That's all this is. And I posted that in the members area. I said, you guys need to be scalping the crap out of this. Feel free. This is great. This is great for scalping. You get a bunch of nice highs and lows, and it happens pretty quick. You play a bunch of, high leverage trades on a smally loaded MEX account. You can have a lot of fun. You can make some money. We just had, imperfected 9 in the TD 12 hour. I actually have a 1 on my 12 hour over here, but I would like to look at the candle setups that we have. Look at these candle wicks. Look at all of these insane candle wicks, right? This struggle is real, okay? And I would just like to look at these candle wicks and, look at these candle wicks, right? Look at this. This is, you got all bots. No, this is just garbage price action. So now with that being said, you have the same thing. You've got your Pac-Man area. You can get up into the Pac-Man area. You're not bullish till you break over both of these wedges, and then you're really going to go into your bullish territory. Once again, we'll get up there. Now, I'm telling everybody this is a really, 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 really bad fucking place to trade. Don't fucking trade, you idiots. Stay out of this area. Guys, this is the worst time. We are so close to a decision. We are so close. Look at this. We're coming down to the apex of this triangle right here. Right, and I have another chart. Look at this. Here we are. We are in the apex of this. We are coming to a decision point. Just wait. Just wait. And just be patient. The worst thing, the worst enemy a trader has is simply impatience. Well, FOMO and impatience, okay? You don't go off and marry the first ugly chick you find, do you? No, you look around a little bit, right? You look around a little bit, okay? You just got to look around. You shop a little bit. You see, you kick the tires on it. You don't just buy the first one, right? You shop around a little bit. You guys are picking your wife right here. You're picking your wife in the worst place to pick your wife. Okay, if this is going to be your happily ever after, you don't want to buy it in desperation because you're buying it in desperation. And this is one of those, met a stripper on a bad night. You were really drunk. You had no idea. You came home. Your mom was there. She's like, oh, is this your new girlfriend? You're like, of course she is. We're going to get married. And then it was all downhill from there, right? 6 months later, you're living in a trailer park, right? You got 2 kids and you don't even know how the hell that happened. Right? And it just is a bad life choice right here in the making, okay? Don't be that guy or girl. Don't mess with Pac-Man, all right? So professional advice, stop trading in this area. Scalping is okay. Get in here, scalp, have some fun, right? This is a great area to play some scalps. Get down on those 3 minute and 7 minute and 13 minute charts. Have some fun scalping this stuff. You can do it. Go to the hour-long chart. If you go down to your hour chart, I'll tell you a little secret. When it hits 70, right? Short the living bejesus out of it. It's a clear pattern. When you hit 70 and it bounces off the 70, it's clearly a bearish signal. It's elementary, right? Use the 1 hour chart, short the living bejesus out of it when it hits 70. When it breaks 70, you pull along. It's that simple. It's like a no-brainer. It's a 1 hour chart. Seriously, people. Okay, it's so easy to do. Lots of fun. All right, but stay out of here. Stay out of here with high leverage positions. Stay out of here with anything like a swing trade. It's just you're going to get eaten. If you want to get into this, you need to be setting some really high stop losses because otherwise you're just going to get taken out by the bots and they're just going to, Arthur Hayes, somebody's going to end up with your money and they're going to spend it on a lot of, they're just going to waste it on a yacht that they don't already need. Okay? Professional trading advice from the Vamp. Take it for what it is. Now you're once again your RSI is bouncing. You've bounced back up. This is absolutely unprecedented. It just the amount of just volatility in this one little area really just shows you how bad this is, right? You can measure this, so you can see this all with your RSIs. Your RSI is just getting right in here, moving sideways. Look, there's our J-hook chart. Listen, every time our J-hook chart does this, okay? Every time our J-hook chart, look, up, down, look, up, nope, yes, die, right? Look, here you go, up, down, no, die, right? Up, down, I mean, this is just the worst place to trade because every time with the J-hook chart says a dump is coming, right? There's a dump coming, right? You don't just walk into a bathroom without toilet paper and expect to walk out with a clean patootie, okay? You're gonna get your patootie dirty. You're gonna get some black dark cream pie on your face if you don't trade safely in here, okay? Don't be that guy. Wait for this to fall. Wait for this to break. Okay? That's simple. More trading advice, right? I feel like people's dad right now. Damn it! I told you don't hang around with Bobby.
I mean, it's so funny to think about, too, as like, new people come to Bitcoin every day. New people come to crypto every day. So, you and I have been studying this for, a few years now. We were so used to our price action. We're so used to where we've been, where we're at. But newer traders, people that are getting into this right now, need to understand where we are in terms of this year, the wedge, the price action, how tight we are, and kind of that. That I think are just kind of looking to beat there. Am I muted?
Oh, no. Oh. Sorry. Yep, there you go. Sorry. Yeah, I muted him. Sorry, my daughter came in the room. Oh, my daughter's having a big sad face. Yeah. All right, go ahead. One more time. Go ahead. One more time. He just told you the winning lottery numbers. $230 million right down the drain. Sorry, people. Go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, again, I'm just saying that it's very important that, I don't know if they can hear.
Yeah, they can hear. Yeah, they can hear.
Okay. So, yeah, again, it's important to have an understanding that this is the hardest. Like, this is the hardest point in 2018 that we've been in terms of, the next move in Bitcoin. And I think for several months we have been flirting with that 6K and just assuming, is this the moment? Is this the moment? We are now closer to that moment than we have ever been. And I've been watching our longs and our short contracts and looking for either that cockiness we've seen in the shorts where they get
They
a
can
little
see
too
your chart, buddy.
extended.
They can see your chart. Go ahead. Your charts are up. Go
Oh,
ahead.
good. They get either a little too extended, creating some sort of a short squeeze, or we have seen circumstances where the longs get a little too cocky as well, and they get a little too extended. And it's a great way to basically just trap some longs. And kind of right now, we have neither. I don't see any longs overextended. I don't see shorts overextended. I do see, however, shorts poised for one more run at these all-time high levels. We had seen, especially in the 4 hour, a couple examples of a big short position just out of the blue. All of a sudden, something like this here. And it's been quite a while since we've had somebody with that much conviction to short the market. Thusly, our longs, very similar. We've been doing the same trickle up, almost kind of parallels what we had here in our price action. Pretty nasty rejection here daily, right at the MA 200. Also with this wick here, brought us a very nasty bearish engulfing follow up. And now we're just kind of recovering ever so slightly from that in a bearish flag pattern here still. And then we're in this channel as well in the Bitcoin longs. So there's nothing in the Bitcoin longs that says to me we're about to break out crazy bullish, nor is there any tremendous short positions taken yet that shows me that larger money is expecting the big one, the big break of 6K and creating 6K
I like it. I
as
like
a
it. I like it when he
resistance.
talks about the big
You
one.
know,
Talk about the big
especially in the shorts, right? But that move there where we're going to do that. Now, are we putting in some sort of an ascending triangle here, where we're putting in higher lows?
Folks, we have two shows nightly. Two shows.
They're
dinner shows. They're dinner shows.
Our head up the top there. So the way I'm seeing this is there's not enough gasoline either side here to kind of make this move happen, and only the price action itself is going to determine kind of where things go here. There's not a lot of shorts on right now, and there's not a lot of longs on right now. Both are very stable to me. And again, in kind of that holding period, waiting period, similar to kind of what we're looking at in our price action right now. I want to bring up one more thing here. I talk about this a lot on Twitter. Oops. No, that's not it either. Bitcoin CME futures. And I talk a lot about the gaps I see in the chart every once in a while. And I get a lot of questions basically about which time frames I like to use and kind of why this has meaning to me. And just real quick here, the gaps are created for two reasons: either a large, quick movement in the price action where it actually skips a beat. The CME futures contracts, it's not a steady flow. It's not a quick tick by tick, similar as you have in the price of Bitcoin. There's some stagnation, there's some lag. So you will get big volatile moves, either bullish moves or bearish moves, gaps in the price, as well as this market closes. This market was closed Friday night. It opened about 4 hours ago. We did open on the 4 hour with a very small gap that I marked here. We've already filled it. So I don't see any gaps on the 4 hour chart. I did have a buddy point out on the 3 hour, there was, right here, there was a gap, rectangle. There is a gap here, and I agree with that, right here, and that would put us right at, no, that's not what I wanted. Put us right at price level. The lower one here, 63.91. So 63. So about $6,400 gap fill here in our Bitcoin futures. Now, that doesn't necessarily correspond with the actual price of Bitcoin. This is a little bit of a laggard. It's not tied in tick by tick. So, somewhere into the $6,400 area of Bitcoin's price would probably fill this gap. And then going back all the way to the beginning, I don't see any more gaps. So I had to go down to the 3 hour to actually find a gap. And I really don't like to go, I really didn't want to go lower than the 4 hour, but I'm cool with the 3 hour. Good enough. But I do see this as a gap that does have to be filled, which means at some point we're kind of come down a couple $100 in the current price of Bitcoin. Now, that's not to say we don't go up first, but it tells me that we do have to go down and fill this gap because all gaps have been filled in the chart. Therefore, I find it necessary that all gaps get filled. And in terms of any other bullish divergences, is Ethereum leading the way? Is Litecoin showing us the road? We're just not seeing it yet. It is impressive to see ETH holding the 230s. It is impressive to see Litecoin holding above 60, again, ranging in this upper 50s to 60 area. ETH, amazing bounce from its 167 bottom a few weeks ago. We went up to 250. We came back to 204, went back up to 230. So we're still holding on. ETH, I'm on I guess I can go to my 4 hour here. We're once again, though, bouncing against this resistance line, this triangle resistance line, unable to break through, but just right there. So we're right there. But we still could extend this, a couple more days into October before there's some sort of a major move that can show us a little more of a finality in terms of where we're headed as we head into the month of October.
Yep. All right, nice. We're just going to buzz through a couple of my charts real quick here. So on my Ichi chart, I just want a couple. So we've got some really weird action going on the Ichi chart right here because we're moving so parallel, right? We've just been moving so parallel with the price. Everything has been moving parallel with it. And we're getting a lot of bearish and bullish crosses that are going along with this, right? So just the other day, we called out this bear cross, the 20 crossed under of the Tenkan line, and we got a clear bear cross, right? This was a pretty easy play, just like happened right here. You got this little quick bear cross, dropped out, then it popped back up. Like you got the bear cross, pop back up right there. So this was bearish. Now, your top side right here, you've got a lot of resistance with your Kaijin line. Your Kaijin's at 6708. So it just shows you don't have much room to go up. And the Kaijin does a pretty good job of deflecting the price here and there, right? Does a pretty good job of it. Now you go down to the 12 hour, and this is where it gets really interesting. Because we've been moving so linear with the price action, right? And we've got such a radical just divergence in price, just bang, 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 all tied up here in this little band. You've got, it's hard to go back and find the 20 MA on top of the Tenkan line under the price, and it could possibly cross over. It's harder to find this, right? Now, if this price does take off, you are going to get a bullish cross possibly. So you would be looking at a possible bullish cross, right? So if the Tenkan shoots up, you're going to shoot through the 20 MA, and when you come back here, you see when you do shoot through the 20 MA, you get definitely a little bullish effect right here when the Tenkan comes to the upper side, right? So I'm watching this. Look, the Tenkan broke up through the 20, bam, just money shot, right? So I'm watching this very close. Now, if you break to the south side, if this does roll over on us, okay, if we do roll over and the 20 chases the Tenkan down. Now the Tenkan does move faster than the 20. So if if the price action does fall out on us here, right? This would be a very it would be a possible, it would be a possible bearish scenario if this were to fall out. But this 12 hours is really critical. I see that in the next 12 hours, well, the next 10 hours, you could possibly have a very bullish cross. You could have a bullish cross and get a nice pop-up. So the 12-hour does look bullish, okay? So just keep an eye on that. Now, if you break down to the 6-hour, it's almost doing the same thing, but backwards, right? So you've got your Tenkan on the high side, which is moving faster. You've got your 20 on the low side. Now, if this does cross from under to top, it is bearish, right? It is a bearish cross when the 20 crosses from the bottom through the top of the Tenkan. It is more of a bearish cross, and you'll have to watch this. So like here it is right here. See, look, you got a little bear pop, but then boom, just died out right here, right? Came up, but then super died, right? So there was your cross. It went up for 2 or 3 candles, and then the price just died out. There's your cross, went up for 1 or 2 candles, and then the price just completely died out. So that is also, if this does happen, you'd get your shot up. You know, I mean, who knows how high this thing could go, and then it would fold over and die, right? Now, if the price does all of a sudden fall out here, right, you'd have the Tenkan chasing down through. Your Tenkan would be then chasing down through the price, your price action would chase through the Tenkan, through the 20 MA, and we would have to be looking at another immediate cross, because now you'd have a cross of the Tenkan rolling over on top of the price action. So, you know, when you see the Tenkan roll on top of the there it is right there, you see boom, rolls over on top of the 20, very bearish reaction. Very bearish reaction on the top. Okay, so there's that. So just know that is looking bullish. Here's our ADX chart. So looking at our ADX chart, we got 2 time frames. I got let's see here, I got the 6-hour and the daily. So here's my 6-hour right here. Right, my 6-hour has got us neutral. We are neutral. We are tied together in a knot, right? So here's our daily, the same thing. Look at this. We are literally trapped in an embrace of doom, right? This is ready. This is coiled. This is ready to do some serious damage. And we're all just waiting with bated breath on what is going to happen with this ADX. Now, let me tell you what. We know where the bottom is. Bottom's not that far away. It really isn't that far away, right? If this thing just kind of, you know, falls out here a little bit, it really isn't going to be that far of a fall to get down here. We would find the bottom pretty easy on the daily, right? So now we're just patiently watching this. Now I am more bearish than bullish, but that doesn't mean we can't get one more run up and then fall out and die on this, okay? One more run up with very little volume, nothing to really support it. Just some, you know, just a little bit of Arthur Hayes. Let's go up here, liquidate out a bunch of shorts, grab onto that free money, and then just dump right down to the bottom, wipe out all the longs, and then have another party on some nice yacht he's gonna buy, okay? So, but now, I wanna point this out to people that every time you get into this apex right here, right? You've reached a critical apex. And the funny thing is, here's your critical apex right there, right? Every single time this happens, right? Let me bring this down. Every time you reach this critical apex like this, a drastic dump happens or something, right? So look here. Here's the same thing. So you came down and see everything is right here. They all like to meet in the middle. Right, there's that one, there's this one, right, there's that one, here's the middle, here's the middle. Look at where these middles all, when these get together in the middle, this is not a party. This is not a party when these get together in the middle. When these get together in the middle, this is some ish going down, right? And this, nope, and then we are right here. So here you go, there's your cluster, and there's your cluster. Okay, now the scary thing to note on this particular chart right now is that look at how far down here this indicator line is. This indicator line is so deep. Look at it, it hasn't been this deep. Whee! Oh, here it is. Oh, look, now we finally found it, right? Here we are. We finally found when we were this deep. Look at how long ago this is. Okay, now let me give you the bad news on this, right? The bad news on this is, see this right here? Take a look at this right here. When your indicator comes down and it just keeps going and going and going, right? Right? This is very bad. Now, this goes both ways. This goes bullish and bearish, right? But look here, going and bearish and bearish and bearish. And this is so low. I'm worried that if this thing does start to, it's going to have such a long run until it finally gets up here and curls around. Because listen, look at this. Look at how far this has come down here. This has come down a long, long, long way, right? And this started way over here. Look at it, started here, right? It started here. So it's been doing all of this right here. It's super tight. This thing is all coiled up. The price action is coiled up. And you've got this indicator that's dropped all the way down. The price hasn't dropped down. The price hasn't dropped down. The indicator is dropped down. The indicator has reset itself all the way to the bottom here, right? And if you really want to see the potential of this, you have to go back here and find out where this puppy just, had a couple big crashes. Oh, let's get rid of that. So, look, I got a couple nice crashes. Here's one right here. Look at the indicator all the way down here at the bottom, right? And here we go. We're getting closer. Right? And there it is. This is that indicator right here. Look at how low this, look, there's the cluster. You have your cluster. Look at this embrace, this spiraling embrace right here. This just true moment of bliss and love and happiness. You're not going to drop out of me, are you? Oh, no, no. I love you. I'm not going to go anywhere. And then just wait. No, this is totally great. This is amazing. And then bam! And then the party's over and you're divorced and you're just broke and you're living in the trailer and you're not, you're like Chon. You're rags to, riches to rags. Just the opposite, right? This is exactly what's going to happen to Chon one day. Some chick is going to be riding in his yacht, driving his Lamborghini to the beach. It's going to be super ugly. And the longer you have for this baby to run, the longer you have to fall. The farther you're, look at the lower you are at the bottom, just the worse it is, right? Right? This is, I got friends in low places, right? This is a good country song can be written about this indicator right here, okay? This is a very bad thing to be down this far with those indicators grouped right in that area, because to me that says whole world of trouble. Now that also goes both directions though. This can go both directions, right? You get down here and this can also have a bullish, right? This can be bullish, right? I mean, not there. That was, don't look at this one. It's another bad. Don't look at that one. That's a bad example. Don't look at that one. That was really bad. Let's see here. Okay, so there's no good examples of that being good at all. I take back the good things, all right? There's no good examples of that being good. Hold on. It might have been good right here. Hold on, let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. See, I knew it happened one time, all right? Here we go. Here we go. This is good. See, look, you got this low right there, okay? Thank God, covered my butt there, right? Here's your embrace, right? Here's your embrace. And look at, there it goes. This is very bullish. So, right, you can go both ways with this. This isn't just negative. This can go both ways. Okay, now this was during the bull market. So, take that for a grain of salt for what it is. But there is hope there. There is hope that this doesn't just turn into something that's absolutely just traumatic to the price action, okay? But just be aware, if you are using your ADX chart and you're looking into this and you see how deep this thing is, you're really watching this price action as you're doing this pinching thing with your and danger, okay? Still in this channel, there's your top line. Resistance is 67.18. We got that. We already know it. Still think it's a flagpole. Okay, now this is really weird. So we have clearly broken our bullish line, right? We've clearly broken our bullish trade line here, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, right? Every time we have broken this trade line right here, right? Every time we have broken this bullish trade line right here, right, we've got a really bullish push, right? Like, look, there's the long trade line, broke it, push, right? Broke it, push. Okay, but this time we came up, stopped, came back. I mean, this is bullish. So the RSI bubble chart right now is telling me that this is bullish. Okay, but it's not acting bullish, right? Because look, every time it breaks this line, it's really, really bullish. Like here, look, broke the line, mooned, right? Broke the line, you got a beautiful candle. Look, broke the line, it made a red candle. What WTF? It made a bearish candle. Right? That's the first time I've ever seen this thing make a bearish candle. Right? Look, broke the line, made this insane moon candle. Right? Just broke that line and made a moon candle. It's the first time I've ever seen it make a bearish candle like that. But it is in the bullish territory. Right? Look, broke the line, just boom, took off. Right? Waited one candle and then took off. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah. I mean, this is clearly bullish right here. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is a bullish line right here. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I hate to ever trade against the bubble charts because the bubble charts are they're usually right. Right? The bubble chart is usually right. It's pretty much always right. And I hate trading against the bubble chart because the damn bubble chart kicks my butt every time. Now, here you go. You got this last little bullish push up. So you broke over, right? And you got this nice bullish push up to the top. And then that was the died out there. Right? Same thing. Broke out. Found your top. Died. But this still tells me you're gonna find a top. You know, you're gonna possibly double top here. So, I mean, is this saying, hey, I'm gonna go to, you know, I'm going to go up here and touch the wedge line. It's 68, 67, 6,800. I just don't know yet, but it's totally possible. I think we have one more little bullish kick up, right? We have one more little bullish kick up, and then it's going to die out, right? And we see that also correlating on our Ichi chart, right? Our Ichi chart says the same thing. Look, our J-hook chart says the same thing, right? Last little hook up. Look, created a new little higher high. Okay, so I mean, I think we have one more little hook up before we possibly fall out, but I don't like it. Shorts just banging on my trend line. Every time you get down here, this is all bad. Shorts are increasing, so your shorts are going up. Litecoin just still looks bullish to me. Litecoin clearly of all the coins looks bullish. This 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like it's trying to go into its wave 5 to get up here to target a wave 5 6680. ETH in the Pac-Man, in the maw of the Pac-Man. Now I did put my ADX chart over here and I am using it on my Ethereum and we're just moving sideways. And one of the things I did notice, and every time Ethereum does kind of get crunched up in this, now on the 4, hold on, let me go over here on the daily. Look at Ethereum. All right, so when this blue line is on the bottom, it is bearish. Okay, when the blue line is underneath, it is a bearish. So when all your other indicators are on top and your blue line's on the bottom, that is not good. That is a bearish continuation pattern. So you see, look, here the blue line was on the bottom, and that blue line just trailed all the way down. And it's still on the bottom. Came up, broke through one time. Look, came up, broke through one time for that little TD top, broke down. Came up, broke through that one little time. Now, I am very bearish on Ethereum. Right? Now, bearish on Ethereum because look at Ethereum as bearish. But then you go back to the ADX chart on over here. Right? Here's our ADX chart. And you go to your daily. And look, it's up on top. Right? You're above all the indicators with your blue line. So your blue line is on top. And let me change the color of this. This is tough for people to see sometimes. I'll put it there. Okay? So look, your blue line is bullish, right? When this brown line or orange line is breaking south, This is bullish. But look, the blue line needs to go north, right? The blue line needs to go up, right? This is bearish. Bullish is the blue line going up, the orange line going down. They're both going the same damn direction, right? So that shows me there's a neutral trend right now on Bitcoin. It's completely neutral. And I did the same thing over on Ethereum. And look, but Ethereum is completely more on the bearish side. So Ethereum is clearly bearish, right? With this is lagging, this is swinging back up. So I'm bearish on Ethereum, and I'm more bullish on Litecoin. I look at Litecoin as the most bullish coin we got. More bearish is this, and I actually look at Bitcoin as more bullish. So that's how you got that. Coming up into all these trend lines. Just to look, we tested this trend line right here. Tested the trend line, got rejected. We're all kinds of grief right here. Got all our MAs. You already went over the Bollinger Band stuff. There was my other money chart. That's my weekly stuff. Looks like we're almost out of here, people. Here's my fib line chart. Things are looking good. And let's take a look. About to test this wedge. So take a look here. This wedge has not been broken in quite some time. I mean, I could literally bring that thing up probably like that. I'll keep it down a little bit. So look, bang, bang, coming down. Gonna test this out. So moving straight into it. Now remember, this doesn't leave a shadow, so you can do some funky swinging action here before this puppy falls out, right? Or it goes moon. You could clearly break out of here, and then we'd have to have another conversation. Okay. Doggy coin, TRX. TRX, look at TRX over here. I see TRX. Here's I see this as a giant A, B, C, D, E, moving in this contracting triangle. So it's a big, massive contracting triangle here. I see this thing moving sideways. I'm just looking for one more breakout to find the D, to then go back to my E to fall out here. So I see this as more bearish. If you really break down into this, you get down to the 4 hours. So you did violate your wave one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still think this is, 1, 2, 3. If this was your 4 did violate it. This would have to be some kind of a leading diagonal. BTC, same thing. Same thing. You can still make this this head and shoulders work. You'll violate the head and shoulders. You get a little bit higher. Here's your 718, your 50, and your 618. So let's see how this all plays out. Back down on the trend line. This is not good. You break through this trend line, and I would be shorting Tron. ADA. 88, a little more bearish, so bearish on ADA. So you did violate this line right here with ADA. So I have flipped over to be a little more bearish on ADA than I am on Litecoin. I still think Litecoin is looking good. Here you did the same thing. You kind of got a head and shoulders pattern that's played out right here. If you do want to throw it up there, it is possible to pull a head and shoulders out of here. You're tight. You're in a moment of truth. So it's kind of tough to... Yeah, you kind of might have to go back here and really start to look at, okay, like, is it possible right there to do something like this and get a bigger triangle out of that? Or bigger wedge line? So, that would be A, B, C. So this would be your... It's a lot harder, a little tougher to make that out. A, B. Yeah, this is a really tough pattern to play right here. It's not making a good A, B, C, D, E in here, right? This is not a healthy, this thing is not a good, I don't like this pattern. Do you have what do you got? Do you have Litecoin over there in Ethereum?
Yeah, I can.
Why don't you bring up your Litecoin?
I got this
Ethereum?
one.
Go ahead. Okay, he's got to. Let me finish out these altcoins real quick. Listen, I personally think Ripple's about to die. Okay, I personally think Ripple.
How dare you?
From a strictly TA perspective. I think Ripple does not have long to go, and I'm not saying die. I'm just saying it's going to have a correction, right? Just so I don't get any hate mail. I think there's going to be a correction. Okay, so I'm looking for a correction, maybe one more little push back up, but I am looking for a correction, and I will even draw some not so nice arrows in here, right, where I think a correction is going to come, but I don't think this has got long to go. I would be looking, if you are in ADA, in Ripple, I would be looking to really set your stop losses tight and be looking to take profits, because if this thing does go, I think what you'll do is you'll get a long wick. I think you'll get a nice little, if you do get a pump, it'll be a wick pump, right? It'll be a wick pump with a dump. So you'll get a wick pump up here somewhere and maybe tag the 618, and then it'll just die out. So just my thunk. I think people should be careful playing ADA. Okay, be really careful playing ADA. Where is my Ethereum? Here's my Ethereum chart. Sorry, I do have some targets for Ethereum. My targets for Ethereum are don't play Ethereum. Don't play anything right now. I still am bearish, right? I'm still bearish. It's hard not to be. I am bearish on Ethereum, right? When you go and do your count on this, it's hard not to see that this clearly violated the wave. I mean, this is your ABCDE. Your ABC is played out. You're now doing an impulsive wave down. You violated. You're on the cusp. Look at this. You're on the cusp right here. Right? Look at that. You're just below violating this, right? You can pass through with a wick. You can pass through with a wick. So that's it. So you're just on the cusp of violating this on this direction, which you clearly violated in the other direction, right? Because you broke your this. If this is a 4, you would have clearly broken the one wave up here. So I still think we're in some kind of ABCDE. And this is not a ABC. I think we're in some ABCDE action here. And if that is true, if you are in some ABCDE action, you can get a little more bullish on this baby, because you would be like, this is possible. Like, this is possible for ETH. If this does take off, ETH could get a run. Get a nice run up here. This is how it's hard not to count this out as this pattern right here, right? And okay, so let's go over here, and I'm going to take a look at the Chone chart. Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just piggyback briefly on what you said. I agree with you on Litecoin. I almost feel like Litecoin could be an example of what happens when Bitcoin, when it does break down. ETH found support at $49. Maybe that's showing Bitcoin can find support at $4,900. ETH made a nice pop back up to $63. Could be kind of a correlation between Bitcoin rising on a nice bounce from the 5K area. So I really don't have much more to add in terms of your alt analysis there. But I just kind of wanted to briefly touch on the 2014 fractal. I got a lot of people ask me about this, and I think it's very legit to look back in Bitcoin's corrective past and try and find some similarities in the current price action that we're seeing now. I think you put out a cool picture chart a couple of days ago about kind of showing all of Bitcoin's corrections that they've had from a percentage standpoint. Everything from small 40 to 60 percenters all the way up to the biggest one, which I think was 90 or 92% back in 2010 or 2012 or something. But right here I have in front of us is, again, I'm just kind of playing around here, but this is the 2014 bit. I'm on, this is, well, it doesn't matter, stamp. But this is kind of our 2014 fractal. As you can see in 2014, or the end of 2013, I should say, Bitcoin rose from, $100 to $1,000 and had a correction. And that's our last example of a pretty steep and drawn out correction after a parabolic move. So there are a lot of correlations. And if you ask me kind of where we are in the fractal, I have a couple thoughts. One, I feel we're moving faster I feel we're in this area. This area would put us in November or even December. Actually, no, it put us in December, even though we're in the beginning of October. So I feel our current correction could be moving faster. But I see these three boxes here as kind of an interesting correlation where this little broader here, where I see an example here in my purple of a very quick rise in the price back in 2014 during our corrective pattern, followed by a very steep and quick drop. And we did something similar here with a very quick rise and a very subsequential steep drop. And then we had kind of a, you know, corrective bounce here where we had a nice little move here. We got higher, but we kind of put in a lower high, similar to our August, early September move here. Had a pullback, and then we kind of had this kind of sideways ish trickle up, little downward, then a little buyback, trickle up, and then eventually the bulls just lost it and they lost control. And we started falling apart, trying to hold on, started falling apart more, trying to hold on. And then we had our big capitulation movements that brought us into this mired pattern for many months until we had a double test, and then boom, we actually were able to break out of our bearishness. So I kind of see that we're possibly in this area here. And I want to bring up, let me kind of clear the board here and just show something real quick here. Let me hide on the price action and let's just focus on the EMAs here. And you see here kind of a similar pattern where our red is my MA 200, our blue is my MA 100, and then we have my yellow here is my EMA 55, 26, and 12. And we have a very similar setup in our EMAs and my MA with my 200, my 100, and then my EMA 55 on top, and then my two EMAs here. Very similar to this move here, where we actually had a very slight bull cross, and then it kind of just fell apart here. So this is correlative, and this is notable to me. And if this is where we are, then we are on the precipice of a major dump, a major capitulation dump in Bitcoin. And that, back in 2014, it brought us from $400 almost to a little over two. So almost another potentially 50% drop happened when we failed to break out of our EMAs here in the 2014 fractal. And that could correlate to somewhere around a $3,000 Bitcoin bottoming, which has kind of been always my overall targets to where I think this bear market could take us. So I do see value in watching and trying to reciprocate the 2014 fractal. And if we are here, then we are on the precipice.
Okay.
Because there was a moment where we were holding, and then we just rejected our EMAs, and that's what brought down our big dump here. It's possible.
Yeah. Okay, so really quick, we kind of got a little debate brewing on the chat room about why we fell and Mt. Gox in 2014 and now. And let me be very specific. And I have the ultimate chart. So hold on a second, people. I know we're having a discussion over here on this, and I want to bring up a very, very important chart. Okay, give me 1 second. And I got to get it over here. Let me dump it on. Let me grab this chart. I will post this on my Twitter page for everyone. Okay. And give me a second. So I'm going to post this on Twitter. Tweet. Got it. Okay. Okay, so I just made a post on Twitter. Let me grab this post really quick because I got to switch it from one computer to the other. Give me a second.
Just those who don't know, the Mt. Gox thing was quite epic in the history of Bitcoin, and really, you could argue, prolonged the 2014 bear market. Everything was running pretty smooth until the hack happened, and then you can see this is a clear example of an exchange imploding, and we've had a couple examples of that ever since.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna bring up a chart real quick. So this is visualizing all the horrific Bitcoin crashes we've had, right? So this goes all the way back to the 2012, right? So you got 2012, 13, 13, 13. Look at all these crashes, right? These are all, here's the Mt. Gox crash right here, the minus 87 one, right? And you've had all these, there's been a ton of crashes that have all gone on throughout the time. It's not like crashes are a new thing, especially for Bitcoin. But if you look at the April 2013, that one also fell 83%, right? One of the things is people are like, well, was Mt. Gox responsible for it? Well, if it was Mt. Gox or not, right, it's kind of irrelevant because these crashes do occur all the time, right? It's not like this is something. And now let me make a very, very simple point, okay? All right. When crashes do occur in real commodities, okay, real commodities, I'm talking gold and silver and oil and the housing market, right? When crashes do occur in real commodities, okay, these commodities still have a tangible, and I'm saying this is something that you can live in it, you can eat it, you can drive it, you can keep it, you can sleep with it, you can, there's a lot of things. It has a fundamental tangible use, a real daily use, right? Like gold, even though you can have the argument about what gold is still ingrained into our culture, right? And people use it as there's a tangible use for gold. People get married. And as long as people get married and give each other rings, you're always going to need gold, right? So, and you can make this argument with all kinds of different commodities. But with what is being the issue that I have with not all crypto, but with a massive percentage of crypto, is that there is no tangible, there's nothing tangible about it. You can't eat it, you can't sleep with it, you can't do anything with it, you can't start a fire with it, it won't keep you warm, it won't take you to work. And you can go through and I can name a whole bunch of coins. I can name a ton of coins off the top of my head that do absolutely nothing, right? So, the issue is you're looking at an asset class that's unsubstantiated to other commodities and asset classes that range out there through the history of time, right? And honestly, this is kind of more like the tulip crash. I know people don't want to hear about that, but the fuck did tulips do? They didn't do shit, right? A tulip don't keep you warm, don't sleep with you, it doesn't, take you to work, it doesn't do nothing, right? So they are pretty. They are very pretty, right? but here there's a very limited amount of cryptocurrencies that are actually tangible assets, and and by saying that I mean that they actually do something. And there's more and more every day. They're actually doing things, and they're tangible, and they're organically being used in society. Verge coin's a good one for however nefarious it is. It's still being used. BNB, I know people don't like BNB, and I hear the argument about BNB, and I know it's a little shady, but BNB is legitimately being used. And hey, it's a freaking coupon. Honestly, you know what BNB is? It's the world's first crypto coupon. That's what it is. I swear to God, I'm going to have somebody, can somebody out there please make me a graphic or a meme and shoot it to me at Twitter, okay? And I want that the BNB is the world's first coupon token, because that's what it is, okay? It is a coupon, and you know what? Coupons work. Coupons do. They're legitimate. It has a legitimate use case. And with that being said, I mean, there are tokens out there that are useful. I just think that we have to get rid of the majority of the tokens that are not useful. And I almost giggle inside when I look at, falls. Now you don't have to look at a fall like the total market cap fall, but you can look at individual coin falls also. You can look at BitConnect. BitConnect's a good example, right? But BitConnect, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind because people are still trading BitConnect. They're still trading BitConnect for whatever reason. It's never going to do anything, right? And I mean, can you short BitConnect? Is it possible? When it's at the bottom, can you legitimately short
Probably
it?
can't borrow enough coin over that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What has got to be the exchange borrowing rate on a short for BitConnect, right? It's got to be insane. So my point is, it's kind of irrelevant, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. But I want you to know that the substantiating factor that combines every single one of these drops and or corrections is the fact that there's actually very little tangible use case scenarios through time for cryptocurrency. Now that is correcting itself slowly, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better and better and better. And I like, you look back and how many times, and this is something, you look back and you say, if I would have told you 20 years ago that you're going to carry a little box, no, if I would have told you 40 years ago you're going to carry a little tiny box around in your pocket, and you're gonna watch TV on it, and you're gonna find anywhere in the world on it, and you're never gonna be, it's gonna wake you up in the morning and sing nice lullabies to you to go to sleep. You guys would have never freaking believed me, but here we are with the cell phone. It's kind of like dial up, and here we are with fiber optic. Things just keep progressing, and crypto will keep progressing. Crypto's not gonna die. It will become a useful. It will become more useful in our daily lives. It just needs more time to get there. It needs less scamminess, and it needs more legitimate products is what we need right now. We just need a culling of the herd, right? Just need a little culling of the herd. And I think and we'll go up, and we'll have another correction. And it's just it's the lifestyle of any commodity, which I still think it is. And look at you, see, you're asking for a triangle. I got you a triangle. I got you fibs. We got everything. Take it away, Chone.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of to piggyback on the correction basis, and probably a good area to kind of finish up here is the fact that at least I'm not gonna say all the altcoins, because a lot of altcoins are too new still to have the correction, but altcoins that have been around for at least a year on exchanges, I mean, almost all of them have more than a 78.6 correction so far, from their top, or at least from where they more or less started or bottomed, to their top, and then the correction ensued. Bitcoin has held up the best out of all, and we would have assumed that because it's kind of the last one that people are prepared to kind of unbag themselves with.
It's because the bags are all held by a few people. That's
right, exactly.
a couple
But
people
for
got
us
it.
to think that we can turn a corner in this market, that a bottom is in, and that a legitimate healthy correction has happened, we have to at least touch the 78.6, which again, it's subjective depending upon where you want to start your fib, but it's around that 5K area, and then I have my 88 pullback, which is around my 3K area, which would kind of potentially be more of a worst case scenario, but it more or less also corresponds with our major, historical support. I feel is way down here, and just to kind of give a sense of, we have spent so much time in this 6K 6,500 range. We've put in, some decent history here, some decent money flow. Our VPVR shows that, but we also show that majority of our overall of Bitcoin happened sub $1,000, and we have lots of gaps here um, of kind of not the most substantial history, until we get down to the sub 5,000 area once again. So it'd be hard for me to assume that, or, the big money, the big institutional money that, wants to get into this, they've seen the money that can be made. They want the more legitimacy of Bitcoin and crypto that it can become, whether that's with ETFs or backed or whatever. At that point, when they're more comfortable, I mean, we're seeing it with marijuana. We're seeing it with Canadian marijuana companies have gone parabolic over the past few months because they've reached a point of legitimacy that took years to get to, and money made. So Bitcoin has been the same thing and can be that same thing again. But until we get down to a fib correction that we talk about as your zone, we've already busted through our 55, our 61. We got to touch our 78 at least once and probably hang out here for some time to have the proper healthy correction you want after at least a major parabolic move like Bitcoin have here. I'm a little. I like to play around with the fibs in terms of the upper wicks versus the lower wicks. I know there's not a lot of money here once you busted over 15K. I know from a dollar standpoint there was, but really, even if I want to be a little more conservative in my fibs here on the monthly and just kind of start us down to the monthly close instead of the candles themselves, we see kind of an interesting correlation here about how we've been flirting in this 55, 61 area for quite some time here. I do find that notable, but that would also put our 78 much lower, down to that $3,700 range here. And then our 88 goes as low as $2,400, which is not the craziest idea to think that Bitcoin can get down here at some point in some sort of a bearish instance that could happen, potentially several months down the road. And I think as a whole, the market would be more healthier longer term if we could get down to these areas, correct down to these areas, and find agree on a bottom, because Bam kind of stated there's very few use cases that add the valuations to these coins. Why does Bitcoin have to be $6,000? Why does Litecoin have to be $60? Litecoin used to be $6. Ethereum used to be $10. Why does it have to be $200, $300? It's been in these higher areas just because we had that money come in and stuff. But we see what happens when we unwind from the parabola, where a coin like Dash can be at $800 and now be at $100 or something like that. So we can see this happen to all of the coins. We've yet to see that major correction happen with Bitcoin. And frankly, for a longer term perspective, it'd be much healthier for the market if Bitcoin can come down here. Everybody can scoop up their Bitcoin, be super happy about that, buy some cheap alts. I mean, if you think the alts have bled out now, I can't imagine what alt market would be if we have a sub 5K Bitcoin. So these are all legit, valid, and frankly, I feel a necessity to kind of happen. And if we had some bullish news, some ETF news, some kind of craziness, that'd be like, wow, that's really interesting, bullish eventism that we can use in the price of Bitcoin, and it rose, I'd still feel suspect in that bullish move just because of this is hanging out here. And we parabolically moved up here so fast with the lack of correction, real corrections in this 5K, 4K, even 3K zone, that I feel only a major test of these areas and reaccumulation in these areas is the only thing that will put us on another trajectory for our next parabolic move, when we can break through 20K and set new all-time highs once again and bust through $1 trillion in the overall crypto market. I don't think any of that can be achieved until we can get down to these areas of a major correction at some point. and only then can we find that next chariot of fire to take us to the promised land. Let's go to the weekly. So I think we can still be ranging this week within the $6,900 to $6,500 range, and not have anything happen. I think anything over 7K, I think a lot of people are waiting to short if we breach 7K. Again, depends on how we get there, why we got there. But because of that shorting, remember, shorting is a newer thing in terms of the history of Bitcoin. Because we have that, because we have the ability to take out monthly short contracts, that's a new dynamic that you have to account here. If people can make money on a dropping Bitcoin, then it's not necessity for it to keep rising. And because of that, every time we go up a little bit, you get that opening of more shorts happening continuously. And especially a larger move breaking us above 7K, I think would increase the shorts loading up and falling into history as to what happens as we keep putting in these lower highs. So without major real news, which I'm just not seeing happen, I just don't see how anything other than our range boundness will continue. And I'm going to lean bearish just because I don't see anything changing. Even the higher lows we keep putting in here, I don't see this as the word we use, organic, price action. I see this as what we keep talking about, the markets, the exchanges defending 6K. And, tether pumps can only last us so long. No big movements the past couple days, but as you said about this kind of no trade area, I mean, I did find it slightly notable that even though our volleys are very tight on our daily, that they are angled upward, which is a bullish sign. We're finding supports in certain areas here. Our channel is very tight. We have not had a high wave candle in quite some time, and we're kind of due for one. And tomorrow, whether you want to call it Bloody Monday or whatever, I just think it feels like this move and the timing it's taken, and just the momentum and the oomph of it is very similar to this move, very similar to this move. And then these two moves just died so fast that I just feel when this move is done, whatever this is, the death knell is just so fast. We just fell so quickly here. We fell so quickly here. It's just in the cards still until proven otherwise. But until that happens, we can still range from 62 all the way up to $6,900. And that's where, as you said, scalping, quick scalps, use shorter time frames, play the wicks, stuff like that. But there's nothing that's changed my overall bearish bias about the overall chart. And giving us a bear break gives us more opportunities and more clarity of the falseness that this market wants to hold 6K, because that's the true value of Bitcoin. Once we break that, I think we can actually find a real truer value of Bitcoin without the exchanges defending that 6K area, and seeing what really happens in a more freer market when it's just anything goes. Wash trading isn't working, liquidity is drying up, and we can really see some great bottoming plays and some great knife catching opportunities. So that's what's happening, I think. And it doesn't necessarily happen next week, but within the first 10 days of October, because the wedge and our tightness in our right here, I mean, this can take us into a couple weeks into October, still putting in that equilibrium of a slightly higher low and a slightly lower high until something's going to break. and we're kind of see that in the next week or so.
Yep. All right.
That's what I got.
I just want to bring over a quick chart. So just to kind of both a bullish and or bearish perspective here, right? So, we love to draw our trend lines and we love to, make everything pretty and stick inside of our boxes, right? So for me, I've got a couple scenarios, right? So you've got the bullish scenario right now. My bullish scenario, my most bullish scenario is this wedge right here. This is my most bullish scenario for Bitcoin right now. So my most bullish scenario is this. Okay, with the test to come back up here and test the top, right? So this would be my ultimate top right here, right? There's that.
Are you still on me?
Oh. No, sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is my most bullish scenario right here, right? Test 1, test 2, test 3 right here, right? So this would be my most bullish scenario for Bitcoin right here. This would be it, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and it's hard for me to get any more bullish. Like if we had a reasonable, something come out right now, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this is the back, or ETF gets good news. Hey guys, come out this week. Things are looking good. We might be close to a deal. Right, I could see this in the cards where you'd get your third test right here, okay? Now, I don't like my third test right here for multiple reasons, and I have that drawn out in my box chart over here. Where's my box chart? So here's my box chart. I don't like that for multiple reasons, but look, here it is. Here's that trend line. See my trend line? There it is. There's my trend line that I have cutting all the way through here, and there's that top level up here, right? So you do have a potential to get, a top level. That pretty much runs you from, it's 70, well, now it's lower, it's 7,500 on this trend line. So $7,050 on this trend line and on the previous one. And the reason I don't like this is because this also correlates really well when I do this particular chart right here. This chart shows me, look, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, right? There's 1, 2, 3, right? So I got 1, 2, 3, and we're kind of doing this, marching our way down here, right? This is, you got all this, and you got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, right? So you kind of got all in the same range right here, right? 1, 2, 3, into that range. And then you drop down your next box and you got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, right? So I like this correlation of all these close, this kind of really, I like this. And then as you go up, look, 1 and 2, wait, hold on, 2, and check this out, 3, right? 1, right? This wick is actually over here. There's that wick. Let me pull this wick back. There it is. 1, 2, 3. Right? And you can see kind of how I do this step down all the way. This kind of steps its way down all the way until you get, you come all the way down here and you get this correlation of all these touches and taps and everything goes all the way down. And like I said, and when I did the correlation of this the other day, I said we're just looking for this candle, and this should actually be a red candle. I don't know why it should be a red candle like that. There you go. So you should have this red candle that comes down and taps this lower line. Now, where that candle is going to come from, that all depends. I mean, I still think, can you go back up right here? I think I really have a hard time getting up here to one of my biggest challenges. I think going down and throwing this trend line like that and setting yourself with a third touch here right? There would be your third touch. Let's inside, and there we go. So this would be, you know, your possible, where's that at? That's a little high right there. Let's get that down there. There you go. So here, you see I have some issues here. Now you would have 1, 2, right? You could draw another box in here, right? And there that box is. Let's clear this out here. Right, and there would be your last box. This would kind of be your last touching box right here, where you would get this last touch here. And what we'll do is we'll make the outside of this pink. So this would be your last 1, 2, 3 right here. And then you would get another fallout. The problem, I have a problem because I got a nice 1, 2, 3 here. And I don't like this, and I like this as a rising wedge. You know, it's real tough. I mean, we're bouncing off, but if I was to look bullish at this, that would be my bullish target, and my bearish target would be $4,500. So there your bull. Now, let me tell you, so let me explain this to you when I say bull. When I say bull, I mean bear. Right? When I say bull, I mean bear, because I think you would come up here and test this, and then you would fall out. Right? So you've got 2 areas you can fall out. You've got this trend line right here. Right? You've got that trend line right there that correlates with, if I really dial this thing in, let me get this down here. Let me get this down here. We'll get a line on that. Right now, if it popped up there, you know, I mean, that's a pretty substantial run right there. I'd have to really dig into that. $7,200, $7,300. On the low side, though, on the low side of this, you would be looking at this trend line right here. And that would be right at 7K for this week. So there would be your target 2. So this would be your bull target 1, bull target 2. Right? So this would be bull 1 at 7K. Okay, and then this would be bull 2, bull T2, but dump to 5,600, 40, what did I say, 4,500. All right, so there you go. There's that. Oh. 2. So I would say the same thing here, but then this would equal a dump to 5,600, 4,500. So both of these are in play. Both of these would be my bullish dump scenario. Okay.
And even on the bull dump, sorry, the bear, well, the bull bear dump.
No, log
it
scale,
depends,
log scale. Yep.
It depends how we get there too. I mean, a lot of that's going to determine what kind of a bounce we can achieve. The quicker we fall, the better spring action we can bust up. A longer trickle down breakdown won't yield us our better spring back V bottom that would give us our best bounce opportunity.
There we go. Lined them up. All right, so I had to throw in the log. There we go. All right, so the first bounce would be 72.28. 7.2. And then the second bounce would be 7.4. Yeah, 7.4. Okay. So now let me be specific. Okay, one more time. This is why I tell people, don't trade in this area until you have a breakout, right? You need to wait for a confirmed breakout. You need to wait for a confirmed breakout over, I mean, I would like to get over 6,800, 6,900. So a confirmation would be breaking this top right here, right? So you'd want to wait till you broke the top right here, and I might even go a little bit higher, right? So your confirmed bull trade bull trade is 68, it's like 50 to 6,900, right? And the sucky part is there, you know, you're just in a situation to where you've got, this is now you have limited room, right? You got a limited room run till you get to either one of these prospective drop zones, right? So you got this one right here. So there's that one, and then you got this one right here, right? So there's your two drop zones, and then you're going to get your hammer, your death and nails drop to the bottom. Now, I think because we posted up a bearish candle, I think you could also come up here and we could tap down and then get ourselves our fall. Now, on this, just like I tell you, you've got a confirmed candle on the top side, a confirmed area on the top side. You have the same thing. Your confirmation is 63.50, right? There's your confirmation at here. So your confirmation short trade is you got to break 63.50 on the low side, right? So this is your short trade. You got to break the low side. You got to break the high side. And you're trapped here in the middle of this. And until you break these, you know, you're in a consolidated pattern where it's just viciously horrific and you're just going to get wrecked, right? You're going to go long, you're going to FOMO, you're going to go short, you're going to get wrecked, and this is just going to bounce in and out. And here we got 1 week, and I think this is really going to play out and over this week, right? And that's, yeah, that you're if it breaks out over your 68, 6,900, you have shite for the top here, because I think you're going to find you're going to have a heavy rejection between 6,900 and 7,200. And in fact, if you can even make it that high, I think you're going to have a super heavy rejection, you know, just getting up into this. Like, look at this area right here, and I'll draw this out in a box. Right, so look at this. So this area right here, and I'm going to put a red, red. Right, so, oh, that didn't end up being that red. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so in this red box right here, you see you got there's your historic right there, right? And this runs all the way across. And you can see where this historic zone ends right here, 69 to 7,000. And you're going to come right up into this. You're going to have to run all through this. Your second one is right here. You have a second confirmation area. You know, and here it is. This is it. You've got, there's your second line. And this is why, look, you've got wick, 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 wick. You've got all these rejection wicks that run all the way across right here. And you've got, so your issue is you're going to get up here, you're going to get rejected. And you're going to get up there again this week, and you're going to get rejected. And then you're going to maybe break through. And you're going to get, there's going to be a bunch of hopeism. And then everybody's going to get their asses dumped on, right? So this is the worst case scenario going up, right? The worst case scenario going down, you come down, you're going to bounce up to 6,300. You're going to bounce way up here. People are going to go, oh my God, it held. It's going to go where that's it. It's going to the moon. And then it's going to crash down short. It's going to short on you, and it's going to crash on you again, because you're going to think the 63.50 held on you, which it didn't. So right here, this is just a miserable, miserable, miserable time. My recommendation, right? My recommendation in this area is to not trade this area. Right? And I mean, take a week off. Just take a week off, right? I mean, that's all you got to do. Wait for a confirmation. People, you're going to have a lot of time to trade. You don't need to trade all today. You know, the world is not going to end today. It's going to end eventually, okay? But it's not going to end today. All right? But for everyone out there trading who's not an experienced trader, listen, go out, take a week off, come back, see where the price action is. Because I'm telling you, this next week is going to be an absolute bloodbath, right? And it's just like people say, Bloody Monday. Yeah, we could get a Bloody Monday. Yeah, and the Bloody Monday is going to dump us to 63.50. Everybody's going to go, and then it's going to bounce us up. And then it's going and it's just, it's horrible, right? Okay. So this is my bullish to bearish scenario, and I think there's nothing good that's going to happen in this range. You just need to pick a team, and if you think it's going to go long, you that's fine. You play a long trade here. If you want to play this long, you buy some alts at 1x. Right? That's what you do. You just buy some alts at 1x. See how they do? You can't lose that much, right? You don't have to spend the farm on it, but you buy some alts because alts are going to pop the best, right? If you think you're going to get a run to 7,200 here, 7K, you buy some alts. Alts will have the best opportunity for a low leverage run. You'll get a nice low leverage run out of some alts. I just feel that this is the worst area possible to trade because there's limited upside and there's limited downside until you break a side. All right, and let's see. Yeah, that's right. I know. Preach, fam. Preach, brother. So if we could just condense the entire show down to that, that's what it would be. Watch the end of the show.
That's real, and we've been a little spoiled the past couple of weeks with the altcoins and the relative stability of Bitcoin, seeing some really great gains, moves in a bunch of coins. Profits been taken. The dump that you're referring to, this inevitable eventual dump, wherever that happens, if it's 69, if we get a little bit above 7K, or if we're basically there now, you get that risk versus reward in the alt. So if Bitcoin does push higher, as you said, you can get more bang for your buck in specific altcoins. But the inverse is also true. If Bitcoin breaks bearish, you're going to see some nastiness in a lot of these coins
Stop losses
that have looked pretty good the past couple of weeks. Your ADAs, your Lumens, your doggy coins, your ripples. I mean, we've had some nice movers here, but only because Bitcoin has been relatively stable, relatively bullish, relatively flat in this area. That's allowed that. You break down Bitcoin and the whipsaw effect of these alts to turn super bearish and to just blow out a lot of the progress these charts have made can be very quick. With a really nasty breakdown of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. So listen, I am bearish. Okay, I am bearish, and when I say I'm bearish, I say I am, 70% bearish, 70-30 bearish, and that's even with a run. And this includes, and in fact, if you run to 6,900, I will actually, so let's do this. So I would say 60 40, right? 60, let's do 60. Let's do 60 40 bearish, okay? You run to 6,900 and I will be 65 35, right?
The higher we go, the more bearish.
That's right. You run to 77. You run to 7K to 7,200, and I go 80%. I go 80, 20. Okay, I go 80, 20 bearish. Right, and this is exactly and this would be my chart. I would go more bearish as we ran up here. I would be more bullish if we just fell out right here and got this over with. Let's just fall out and get it over with, because I know, listen, My thing is, if we dump here, this is how this will work out. We're going to get over the month of October. So the best thing to happen to us, so the month of October would be to get a snap wick to, call it 5,500, right? 5,500, a snap wick to 5,500. This would give us a V bottom. And then I would look at November and December as bullish, right? This would be my bullish. This would be my more. This right here would make me. I would then flip 60, 40 bullish, right? I would flow 60, 40 bullish into the opposite direction here if we got a snap wick down. And then boom, flapped off here, I would be so happy. And I would say, there it is, held it, V bottom, all the money. Now let's go, because you got that nice V bottom, and we get November and December. They'd be, Christmas, and we'd all be buying Toyota Corollas or whatever we could afford, you know what I'm saying, off whatever limited bounce we got. And this would be the ultimate bullish scenario. This would make me bullish. This is going to make me bearish. And this is exactly what we need to be watching for. Going up is not the right thing to do right now because there's no reason to go up. There's no reason to go up. I know back, that's great. I love it, right? But ETFs, no way ETFs are going to get approved. There's just no freaking way, people. There's no way ETFs are going to get approved. Okay? Not a chance in hell. When somebody puts in an order for, 77,000 Bitcoin? Right? When somebody puts in an order for 7,000 BTC, okay, and then the market drops out like 12 hours later, 24 hours later, a little too much manipulation for me. All right. So listen, we got to wind down the show. The mama bear is here. Okay. And she said it's time to go. It's been a great show. Me and Chon had only planned on an hour. I want you to know we planned on a 1 hour show. So, a little over a 1 hour show today. But I want to thank everybody for being here. Another great show, man. Chon, thank you so much for being here. Listen, everybody, give this man a follow. Look at that. He's got a nice sailing ship. Listen, the reason he has this yacht on there, his sailboat on there, okay, which is parked over at Chesapeake Bay, Nantucket. Where do you have that thing posted? Where do you have that thing?
Let me think of something smart.
Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard.
The tags are out of Bermuda, but I do port from time to time in certain areas, Monaco, for instance.
Yeah. So you'll notice his boat. It'll be out there. It'll have the big gold Bitcoin emblem on it. You guys can't even miss it. It's about a 62-footer. He takes it out in the summertime only. I think he's going to send it to Bermuda really quick. So you guys, if you fly out to see him, you're going to miss it this year. All right. So we'd like to say thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate all being here. I apologize for the show being so long, and I'll make sure I put on there. Go zoom to the end to find the conclusion. All right. So
thanks, guys. Thumbs up. Give some thumbs up.
Thumbs up, and we will catch you guys all on the flip side for the Vamp. All of us at Until 1 Mil and the Big Chon. We are out.